Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Better Half Show. My name is Godman Akinlabi. My friends call me PG. On the show today, we're going to be looking at a very interesting topic, on hold. What do you do when it looks like you're experiencing delay in getting married? You've tried all sorts and you still cannot pull it through. We're going to be checking out the emotions, the pressure, and the general management of that kind of situation. Don't go away. Please stay with me. I'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Better Half Show, and on the show today, we are discussing being on hold when you are experiencing delay in getting married. The pressure, the anxiety, and all the things that come with it. And I have, on this episode, Yemi Popola. Yemi is a professional chef. Yemi, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, PG.
And also I have Meka Lola, a communications expert. Meka, you're welcome to this episode.
Thank you.
All right. Let's look into this topic. Before we do that, I really want to know you a little better. How old were you when you got married?
I got married at 43.
Wow. All right. Meka, how old were you when you got married?
I was 37 years old.
37. Nice. That means we're going to be able to get a lot of experience from you guys. Again, I want to welcome you to the show. Let's unpack this a bit. The pressure, the anxiety. We live in an environment where people are always on your neck. People want you to get married, your parents, your family, friends, colleagues at work. How did you handle the pressure?
I think I realized that I needed to get married for myself. So while I was waiting, I focused on my life and decided to do what I wanted to do until marriage happened. So I traveled to as many countries that I could travel to. I did a bit of backpacking. You know, I just enjoyed life and I lived life. Not in a careless fashion, but in a way that I knew would give me good memories all the days of my life, you know. And
should that mean that you were actually prepared for the wait, or you just lived one day after the other?
I think I lived in the moment for each time. I didn't let the fact that I wanted to get married influence the way I lived my life today, in terms of you meet people who are waiting to get married and they put their life on hold, you know, but I just didn't do that. I lived every day like it could happen tomorrow, but for today, this is where I am and this is what I want to do.
So it's a case of enjoying where you are on the way to where you're going.
Precisely, actually.
And with that, you were able to deal with the pressure a bit.
Yes, with my own internal pressure. Dealing with external pressure was a bit more difficult. I can only say this in my language. The one thing that I heard constantly, being female, was Ile obirin okinpeshu, which means, for the Yoruba-speaking people, it means there's a time frame within which a woman has to get married, otherwise it's midnight for you, I guess because of biological clock.
But should that mean that that saying is actually writing off, you know, the lady just because you are a lady and you know your time, your clock is ticking?
To be honest, it's a real issue, because after a while you start having reproductive issues. That's the reality of life, you know. So you had to, but I just wasn't ready to live with a fear of. I know people who got married earlier than I did, and it took them 20 years to have a child. So really, if that was the reason why I got married, why they got married, we're not any different in reality.
Interesting.
You know.
So Meka, how did you manage the pressure? Hearing from, you know, a man's perspective, what's your story?
I think I did a lot of engaging communicating rather proactively with my parents where, the most pressure came from, letting them know, what was going on, my own mindset at any particular time, and I had a couple of examples to point out to in terms of, some of my friends who have not been very fortunate in marriage, and things like that. But the pressure didn't really abate. I got a couple of respites from time to time, but the pressure, kept coming back. And I mean, towards the end, when I clocked about 35, it became very intense, because my mom then, with the benefit of hindsight, I think that's what she did. She made one of my aunties be on my case continually, and she was very tenacious about it. She called me up every single day.
Wow.
She just say, after a while, she would just say, "Oh, I'm just saying hello," and all of that. But I knew where she was, she was
That must
getting
have been a lot of pressure.
There was a lot of pressure, But I think that the highlight of what really got to me was when my mom came to visit on an occasion, and I asked, the cook to settle her in. And then when I got home in the evening, I met her, crying. And it was very obvious that she had been distressed, for a long time. And I was really petrified. I was like, what's going on? What happened? And she said, she didn't like what the cook made for her. And, it would have been better if I was married because she would have been spoiled for choice. She would have had, probably ordered what she wanted.
Loads of sentiment coming in there.
Exactly. And then, she would have been able to discuss with, her as another, one female to another and stuff like that. That got me thinking, that really, was she just play acting or did it really get to her? Does it mean a lot to her, and stuff like that. I started thinking about it, but I still knew that I couldn't compromise on certain values, So it was a mix of that.
That's interesting. A lot of the time, people find different ways to mount the pressure.
Yes.
They're playing all kinds of cards, like she was talking about the biological clock, it's a card that, they will play, with a woman. And, with a man, it's, I want grandchildren, and all that.
Yes.
Or all your mates are now married, what's happening? So it must have been a lot of pressure, really. But, I mean, the emotional part of it, did you cry at any time? Did anybody say anything that brought you to tears?
Oh, where do I start from? Cry because of internal pressure, not really. But sometimes people will say hurtful things. You must be a bad person. You must be that, you're really a bad woman, so no man can handle you. And then sometimes my mom will call me at 2 a.m. to ask what I'm doing. And I'm thinking, sleeping? And she's like...
Why are you sleeping?
No, she won't say, why are you sleeping? She will just say, oh, okay. She's praying with some people, and I'm thinking, okay, good for you. But, I hang up, and I feel bad because I'm just thinking, why must I be such a problem to this woman? Because it's like that was her only issue in life at that stage.
That's really interesting. So your mom really knows how to
my
play
mom. She'll call you at 3.
This
what are you doing? I'm thinking, what else do you do at 3 a.m.?
So, let me hold you on that. When we come back, we're going to look at this situation and several other things around this issue of pressure. So don't go away. Please stay with me. I'll be right back. Welcome back. It's the Better Half Show, and on this episode, we are looking at being on hold when you are experiencing delay in getting married. The pressure, the emotional heartache, and all the things that come with it. And we've been having a very interesting discussion with my guests on this episode. Let me come back to you, Yemi. We're discussing about, the different kinds of emotional cards that parents and friends and, all kinds of people play. And that was really becoming interesting. But I want us to look at it from the perspective of a lady right now. When a lady is not getting attention, it can be very frustrating. What would you advise a lady in this kind of situation? She's not getting attention. She feels she looks beautiful. She has a good job. She's good. But what's happening to me?
People are attractive to other people for various reasons. One, it could be character. And the older you are as a lady, the more successful you are likely to be if you're in a career. And the more abrasive you are likely to be, because that's the reality of the professional world. So sometimes as women, we're just more aggressive, more, you know, that's lovey, soft feel. We kind of like lose it the older we go. That's one reason. Another reason could be that really you don't go anywhere at all. Some people just do work and home. And so there's no social life. They don't have friends. They don't connect with anybody. And that could be it. So the most regular advice I used to get was go out more. I had my mom's friend, Auntie Bola. She would call me on a Saturday and say, where are you? What are you doing? I'm at home. It's like, no wedding, no this, no that. I'm thinking, no wedding. Don't you? I heard somebody is getting, and I'm thinking, but I don't know them.
I just wanted to say that I hope she didn't fix you up.
No, she didn't fix me up.
To attend an event you were not invited for.
She was constantly telling me, isn't this person your friend? I heard this person is getting married, this person's sister, and I'm thinking, yes, but we're not friends like that, you know. And then she would also call, she would see me, she was very social, and she would see me at a function, maybe with another female friend or some female friends, and she'd be like, why are you with female friends? Don't stay apart so that you can be noticed, you can be this. And I mean, I knew it came from a place of love, and it was never, for some reason, she was one of the few people that never really made me feel upset, maybe get upset in the way she would say it, because she would say it in a nice way. No, as if, well, you just have to do this. But in reality, I think you just really need to live your life, and life will happen to you.
So live your life and allow life to happen to you.
Yes.
Mecca, from your own experience, do you really think that some ladies, like the kind of ladies we were discussing with Yemi, on their own, maybe unknowingly, could actually be repellents, as the case may be, just as you were trying to, get hooked up and all that? Should ladies actually pay attention to that? Do they become irritants, repellents, and they are the ones that are actually causing the guy not to want to press ahead?
I think so. I think that, it's very important for ladies not to come, from my own perspective, not to come on too strongly, to the guy, because, that's one major way to turn off, a guy. At the beginning, it can be a good, attraction, but if it gets a bit too strongly, it can then turn to be a turn-off. Also, in my own case, I had a few set of values, that I was very particular about. There were some that I couldn't compromise on, and then as I got older, there were some that I was, able to work around, in terms of accommodating, some of those, values when they are not present. But generally speaking, it's clear that you must, present yourselves, and this goes for the guy as well, as marriageable, if you allow me to use that, because it's very important that as you then start to think about marriage, you're thinking about, bigger issues that are beyond dating. So, more serious issues about being open with communication, talking about, the finances, talking about, children and stuff like that, which is, very clear.
So you're saying that the ladies at this point should be a lot more interesting, not abrasive, don't become a repellent. Be somebody that somebody wants to hold a conversation with, and you can actually hold very interesting conversations. People should not really perceive frustration or desperation.
Yes, because at that time, every encounter that you have, what you're thinking about is the home. What you're thinking about is, I'm going to live the rest of my life with this person. So it's very important that you start to position yourself that way, because that's probably what the guy is also trying to do at that point. trying to say, oh, we're going to spend, 40, 50 odd years together. So is this person that homely person that I like, to connect with, And when those things are not there, when, the conversations keep bordering on the frivolous, the momentary things, the fun things, there is, an extent that, the guy wants to live in the moment. You're thinking about, many years and decades afterwards.
Cut off the frivolities and, be cut straight into the real issues. Let somebody know, let the prospective guy know that you're ready and you're serious.
And it's not all about fun at that time, fun, but more serious things.
Interesting. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be looking more at this issue of how you make yourself more visible. Don't go away. Please stay with me, and we'll be right back.